Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes. Vamos a empezar con la transmisión de hoy, que es acerca de la importancia de el team building o el trabajo en equipo en las etapas iniciales de la competencia. Vamos a esperar que la coach Shannon se conecte.
Hola!
Hi, coach. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Great, thank you.
That's
Glad to be
great.
here with you today.
I know. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Um, let's start with the talk we're gonna have today about the importance of team building in the early stages of the team. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it okay if we start by introducing ourselves to the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe we should tell them how we know each other too, because it's kind of a cool story, right?
Yeah. So, if you wanna.
Okay, so hola, I am Shannon Simpson, and I teach physical education at Columbia International College in Canada. I also run the varsity program at that school, and I coach the male and female soccer teams there. My background of soccer, basically from the time I was 8 years old until I basically couldn't do it anymore because my Achilles tendons were just pulling on the bone. I have played soccer, so that's basically my first love. So I think I actually love coaching more than playing because you have the opportunity to give back and see others experience the sport just as you did. So that's a little bit about me. I live in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And yeah, what about you?
Great. So I'm gonna translate that first part.
Okay.
Aquí nos dice que su nombre es la coach Shannon Simpson, que vive en Hamilton, Ontario, en Canadá. Es una entrenadora de fútbol, soccer en el Columbia International College y que desde siempre a ella le ha gustado mucho el fútbol, que incluso prefiere ser entrenadora que jugar y que jugó prácticamente desde que era niña, desde los 8 años, hasta que tuvo una lesión en los tendones de Aquiles y pues ya no pudo continuar jugando fútbol. Y esa fue la introducción de ella. So I'm going to introduce myself now. Okay, so I'm a medical doctor in Mexico. I have a master's in sports physiotherapy in the in the European University of Madrid. And right now I've been 3 years working in a professional soccer club, in a first division club called Monarcas Morelia, here in Mexico. Y para los que nos están acompañando en español, soy médico general, tengo una maestría en fisioterapia deportiva por la Universidad de Madrid y actualmente estoy cumpliendo 3 años como médico deportivo y ahorita estoy en un club de primera división que se llama Monarcas Morelia en el área de fuerzas básicas. So great, coach. Do you want to start by telling us something about what does team building mean in sports?
So team, if you look up team in the dictionary, and I'm sure everybody knows this, a team is a group of individuals working together towards a common goal. So team building is getting your group, your team, that is made up of many different people, different personalities, different skills, talents. You're trying to get all those people on the same page in terms of, okay, what is our goal? What are we working towards? How are we going to do this? So getting everybody, team building is getting everybody on the same page, in my opinion.
Aquí nos comenta que como tal la definición de equipo pues es un grupo de personas que persiguen un mismo objetivo, un mismo ideal y que en relación a los deportes es un grupo de atletas que tienen diferentes habilidades y diferentes aptitudes, pero con la misma, que comparten el mismo objetivo, y el team building como tal es conseguir que todos los jugadores o todos los componentes del equipo trabajen en la misma función de buscar este objetivo. Great, coach. Thank you very much. Can you tell us about why is team building important in the specifically in the early stages of competition?
So before I actually coached the team at Columbia, I used to help out one of the other coaches. So I used to kind of just get involved. Like, I love being part of a team, and I always have. So whenever there's a team forming, like, I wasn't the coach, but I still wanted to be involved. So we ran these exercises. So I was the team bonding like specialist. So they used to make fun of me. They used to be like, do we have team bonding tonight? You know, and it was like a big joke. I don't know, to these young men. But secretly they loved it, I know, and they saw value in it. And now that I'm the coach and have been the coach for several years now, I instill that into, you know, right from the start. So I think it's, if you compare a team almost like raising a child. So the early stages of a child's life, it's infancy. That's when you're like, you know, instilling the morals and, you know, their manners, and, you know, you're deciding how you're going to bring them up, right? You're laying the foundation for their life. It's kind of the same thing with the team. So you bring all these, like I said, different people together, different personalities, and you have to establish what you're going to do right in the beginning so that everybody is on the same page. And not only that, but everybody has to come together and feel like they are a part of a team and feel as though they can trust each other, because that just doesn't happen. And I've seen it before where there's been teams and everybody is very skilled, but they're not necessarily a team. Just because you wear the same jersey, it doesn't mean you're a team, right? You have to trust each other. You have to support each other. You have to communicate. You have to feel like a family, in my opinion. The greatest success I've had with teams is when the team feels like a family. And so getting that going in the early stages, I think, is paramount to a team.
Okay. Pues aquí le preguntamos que cuál era la importancia de conseguir como tal esta unión del equipo para que trabajen como grupo, sobre todo al inicio de la competencia. Y nos dice que ella empezó hace muchos años siendo, no era la coach, o sea, la entrenadora en jefe del equipo, sino que era como la auxiliar que manejaba las dinámicas para acercar a los equipos o que fueran más cercanos, que fueran como una familia. Entonces nos comenta que lo compara como con las fundamentos o las bases de una vida de una persona, que las tienes que fundamentar muy bien, tener muy buenas bases, o sea, con valores y ser una buena persona antes que un buen deportista. Y la importancia de hacerlo al inicio es que no por ser simplemente un equipo que tenga muy buenos jugadores con habilidad, van a desarrollarse bien y ser parte de una familia. Entonces ella lo que trata de hacer siempre es lograr esa cohesión y que todos tengan el mismo objetivo. Thank you, Coach.
De nada.
Can you tell us, how do you set a shared goal for your team?
So what I do is, and I've seen this done many times, and it's kind of just a good way to see where everybody's at. You know, you get out the whiteboard, right? Or the chalkboard, and you sit back and you just ask them, what do you want? What do you want from this team? What are your hopes? What are your dreams? What are your goals? So, you know, you give them the marker or the chalk, and you go for a little walk even, so you're not right there watching them, and they start writing things down. They write down what they expect to experience on this team. And you'll find that, you know, when you come back to the board at the end, when they're done, they tend to share the same goals, you know, like everybody's there to improve their skill. Everybody is there to have some fun. Everybody is there to, you know, everybody wants to win, of course, right? So, you know, you just asking them and then getting them to provide feedback is a good way to say, okay, where are we as a whole and what do we want to do?
Okay, thank you. Aquí le preguntamos que cómo hace para delimitar o diseñar un objetivo en común para todo el equipo. Y dice que la dinámica que ella maneja es juntar a todo el equipo, sentarlos y pasarlos al pizarrón uno por uno a escribir sus objetivos individuales, y que la mayoría de las veces realmente coinciden, porque lo que todo el equipo prácticamente quiere pues es ganar en primer lugar, en segundo lugar también divertirse, y pues la tercera sería mejorar sus habilidades atléticas y deportivas. Entonces, al hacer esa dinámica se crea una retroalimentación en la cual ven los objetivos que tengan en común y pues fijan uno en específico para todo el equipo. Thank you, Coach. So when you have your shared goal, how do you transmit the importance of sharing that goal with the team?
I think just revisiting it all the time. So normally at the start of every practice, we will talk about, what our goals are for the practice, what we're going to be doing. If we have upcoming games or tournaments, we just revisit those goals and then working in our practice towards those goals. And, if one of the goals, for example, one of the themes that we kind of focused on this past semester was the process of the game. So not necessarily like, we got to win all our games and we got to score goals, because sometimes I think when we focus too much on like that end result of scoring the goal, we forget what it takes to score the goal. Okay. You don't just score a goal. We have to be united. We have to be on the same page, right? In terms of respect and trust and all these things. And then we have to have those basic skills, those passing, the vision, the talking, just the little things that you learn when you're 4 years old and you're starting soccer. So just revisiting those all the time and always coming back to that. And I think that's a good way to, then it's always there, right? You're always sort of meditating on that.
Okay, so it's the importance of focusing on the process and not only on the final result, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think sometimes we get too focused on winning and this and that. And even to the point where one time I said, I made a comment, I preached this the whole semester. And then I was like, yeah, we have our tournament coming up. Oh, we're going to win. And then one of my players was like, but miss, we don't want to go there. We just want to play our game. I'm like, you're right. So they caught me off guard. But yeah, the process is huge, right? And the thing is, if we are not united as a team, if we have not bonded and we have not built this team in the beginning, you might win, you might get lucky, but I've seen teams win that maybe weren't the most skilled, but because of their team bond, they do well.
Okay. Aquí le preguntamos que ya teniendo el objetivo, ¿cómo hacía para transmitirlo a todo el equipo y que todo el equipo compartiera el mismo objetivo? Y nos comenta que lo que ha estado manejando últimamente es enfocarse más en el proceso que solo en el resultado, que como tal es anotar goles o ganar. Entonces vuelven como a las bases de lo que aprendieron, fundamentos tácticos de niños, visión en el campo, hablar en el campo, comunicarse. Entonces, el trabajar en esas partes que son como el proceso y no tanto el resultado es lo que le ha dado más resultados a la entrenadora. Thank you. Can you tell us about if there are specific exercises or dynamics that you work with your team to achieve team building?
So like I said before, when I wasn't the coach, we would do these team bonding things. So we would work fitness into some sort of team bonding experience. So we'd go for a run and then we'd end up at, Tim Hortons, a local coffee shop. And, I'd buy the kids a donut or something, and we just sit around and just talk and laugh and not necessarily, focus on soccer for a second, but we would share our other interests, right? And we would just bond together as a team. And over the years, I worked towards achieving something for our teams to experience at the start of every season. So now we are so fortunate that we go to this leadership retreat, which is on a beautiful lake. It's called Bark Lake. I don't know if you ever went up there when you were at Columbia. Did you?
I didn't go, but I heard about it.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen pictures. It's beautiful, and it's a leadership and conference center. So you go up there, your meals are provided. There's team members there to run certain games and activities. We pretty much don't even touch a soccer ball for the whole weekend. It's just strictly like, let's do all these little games and activities together. Let's hang out. Let's talk. Let's share life together. And the team just, it's like a beautiful thing. Like after that weekend, everyone feels like they're a family. And so that's one of the big things we do at the start of the semester to kind of bring, and we do it with all of varsity. So all of our 7 teams go up on buses, and it's fantastic. And then throughout the year, specific exercises. Sometimes I'll be like, put the balls away. Like, I don't even want to see them right now. Put them away. We're doing something else. And we'll play football. We'll like American football. We will do trust games. So I'll make them, just little things that at first they're probably like, I don't want to do. Like, why are we doing this? I just want to play soccer. This is why I'm here, right? But then once you get them going with it and they get into it and they see that it's not just about soccer. It's about, these are skills that they're going to take with them and use in life, right? If you can't be a great team player on a soccer team in high school, how are you going to survive at your job? You're not always going to get to pick your teammates, your coworkers, right? So these are skills. I think I've learned most of my life skills from playing on teams, right? So, to go back to answer your question, that leadership training we do together is huge. And then little things here and there, just not necessarily to do with soccer, that bring us together and force us to trust each other and communicate.
Okay, y le preguntamos que cómo manejaba, si tenía algunas dinámicas en específico o ejercicios para lograr esa cohesión del equipo, que ese equipo se juntara, y nos dijo que a ella le ha funcionado mucho algo que hacen, que es un retiro en un lago, en donde van todos los 7 equipos de esa universidad, y hacen actividades que ni siquiera tienen que ver realmente con el deporte en sí. Son más actividades como de cohesión, actividades recreativas, juegos, dinámicas, comparten historias de vida, comparten anécdotas. Entonces lo que más le ha funcionado para realmente lograr que un equipo tenga esa hermandad y que el equipo sea como una familia a fin de cuentas. Thank you, Coach. Let's move on to the next question. What do you do to keep your team focused on the goal?
Probably, again, just coming back to why we're here, why are we doing this? And I think, too, like anything that we want to accomplish on the soccer field, is going to be a lot easier when we are physically fit. So, a lot of the times I'll add that into the practice, that fitness component that's kind of separate from, training and skills and just playing the game. But yeah, definitely always coming back around and touching on it so that we always know, we're always focused on where we want to go.
So I think maybe it's hard to keep in mind the same goal throughout the whole season, especially when we're getting adverse results or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. You can do all that you can do in a practice, but if you're not getting the results that you want to see, then sometimes, we need to shake things up a bit, right? Try something new, usually the way that I train my teams, it's kind of the same all the time, but then so sometimes I'm like, all right, if that's not working, then I need to flip the switch and try something else, right? What works with one team may not always work with another team, right? And I find sometimes it's hard too to keep, as you get to know people and as the kids are, especially with me, as they're in school and even sometimes they meet new friends and they get into different things, and sometimes we have discipline issues on the team. We sometimes you feel like you're losing people, and then so you have to like reel them back in and actually coming back to why are you here in the first place? You love soccer. We all love soccer, for example, right? So, you know, let's do everything we can to be able to be, you know, at a soccer practice or at a soccer game, right? So just kind of reeling them back in and bring them back to the focus and the goal.
Okay, thank you. Aquí nos comenta que sobre la importancia de mantener el mismo objetivo en mente a través de una temporada completa, incluso cuando los resultados están siendo adversos, y simplemente es volver a las bases de por qué estamos practicando el deporte, y básicamente es porque pues, a todos nos gusta practicar el deporte que estamos realizando, y realizar estas actividades para también volver a encarrilar a la gente que a lo mejor se está empezando a dispersar, o si tenemos a lo mejor algún atleta que ya no está entrenando con la misma fuerza y todo, entonces volverlo a encarrilar al mismo camino y que vuelva a jalar para el mismo objetivo que tiene todo el equipo completo. Coach Simpson, how do you control discipline in your team?
So my biggest thing, I think that I do in the beginning with players, and I always give my players the utmost respect. So for me, I understand that, you know, I coach high school students. I understand that they are international students. They are away from home. So I really try to get to know each of my players. And I try to, you know, let my players know me on a personal level too. I share with them that I have children and you know, that my life is busy and crazy too. And I feel like when you open up to your team and they are able to open up to you, you create that bond, you create that respect. And I think that is so important. And so I think a lot of times that will prevent a lot of, me having to discipline them, because most of the time when you have that respect from your players, they're not going to, you know, get in trouble or be late, you know, because they respect the team and they respect the coach so much. But, you know, it happens when players are late for practice or, you know, talking out or whatever it is. But I think it's important to express to them that when someone is late, it's not just you were late, you know, you suffer. The entire team, you know, will suffer because we do everything as a team. We win as a team, we lose as a team, you know, and I think when the team respects everybody, so when each player respects them, you know, they're maybe less likely to be late because they respect their team. So why would they do that? Why would they put their team through, you know, extra laps or push-ups or whatever? So respect is huge. And that's why, again, so important in the beginning to create that bond and create that respect and that family, you know, because then you don't disrespect, right? And you aren't late. But it happens. But when it happens, everybody pays, right?
Okay. Con referencia al manejo de las indisciplinas en el equipo, ella nos comenta que en primer lugar trata de conocer a todos sus jugadores. Ella sabe que pues tienen condiciones diferentes. Todos los jugadores, por ejemplo, tiene jugadores que son de muchas nacionalidades diferentes, que están lejos de casa, que a lo mejor eso puede afectar su rendimiento y su compromiso con el equipo, pero sobre todo tratar a los jugadores con respeto. La clave que ella nos menciona que es el respeto a los jugadores y haciéndoles entender que si uno les da el respeto, ellos no van a faltar el respeto al equipo, y también hacerlos ver que al tener una falta de disciplina o alguna falta de respeto hacia el equipo, pues no solo es ellos a los que se perjudican, sino al equipo en común, en general. Entonces, desde el inicio maneja eso de la cohesión de todo el equipo para tratar de evitar pues, que haya el menor número de indisciplinas que se pueda. Thank you, Coach.
Welcome.
In your experience, what's the best part of being a coach? What do you like most about being a coach?
First of all, I think it's having the opportunity to meet so many different players and see, you know, so many different skills and talents that these kids, you know, bring to the school. And for me, you know, they're international, so everyone has a different story. Everyone comes from, somewhere different. So it's cool to have a very diverse team. But most of all, it's to see that group of people that is so diverse coming together, because first of all, they all love soccer. So they all have that in common. But then you bring them together and they turn into brothers. They turn into sisters. And so for me, it's, I hate to say it, but it's, and you can say I'm not competitive. I am competitive. But the thing is, I think over the years, I have found that, it's not so much about winning as it is remembering that bond you had as a team. And as we're sitting here chatting, I'm seeing some of my players, sign in. And it's just, it warms my heart, because that's the best part, is seeing kids bond, and they're never going to forget their team. And it's sad when it's over. And just the time that you have together, that's the greatest part of being a coach, is having a team, having that respect, having that support, and that ultimately that experience, and learning all those skills while doing something that you love, right?
Okay. Y nos comenta que en cuanto a la mejor parte o lo que ella más le gusta de ser una entrenadora de fútbol, pues es las experiencias que vive, este aspecto de hermandad que se llega a lograr en un equipo, las historias que comparten, no solo enfocarse nada más en el resultado, en ganar, sino las experiencias que se viven a través de vivir justamente estas competencias. Él también nos menciona mucho el intercambio cultural que hay, porque tiene jugadores de diferentes nacionalidades, entonces todos tienen antecedentes diferentes y aprenden muchas cosas de cada uno, y pues eso es lo que nos comenta que es lo que más le gusta de ser un coach. Thank you, Coach Shannon. So about the question you asked me first about how we met.
Yes.
I wanted to share that. Yeah, it was like 15 years ago or something like that.
2005.
Yeah, I was there from 2005, and I was there for a year. So you were my soccer coach and my physical education coach also.
Yeah, that's really crazy, eh? It's just crazy how much time has passed. Like, and when you say you're a medical doctor, I'm like, what? What part of medicine?
Sports medicine.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's awesome. It's so great to hear. And you coach too?
No, I'm just working like as a doctor in a team.
I thought you coached as well. Oh, no, you're the doctor on the team. Yeah, okay.
But I get to travel with the team and all that.
That's so great. But that's great, right? So you get to experience all those things, right? That's awesome.
Those memories and those experiences you share with your team are priceless.
Oh, I know. Totally.
Thank you very much, Coach Shannon, for being with us today. And I hope it's not the last time we have this kind of talk. It's really good.
This is the first connection, so many more to come, right?
I hope we get to meet soon. Y gracias a todos por conectarse. Y le estaba comentando que pues espero que no sea la última vez que podamos coincidir en una plática así. So, thank you very much, Coach Shannon.
Thank you for having me.
See you.
We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.